We acknowledge that this project was made on Treaty 7 land in southern Alberta.
Hi, my name is Pat Verdoni. I live in Calgary, Alberta. I found a weird instrument in an estate sale and I wanted to get it to its rightful owner. I am Patrick Verdoni. I'm a picker, collector, artist, musician. And this is my place and stuff.
Pat visits thrift stores, estate sales, swap meets, and flea markets, and he looks for interesting and rare items to add to his collection.
This is some of my collection of radioactive glassware, which is uranium glass. This is a nuclear radiation detector. We're gonna measure some nuclear radiation. Most of the stuff is close to 100 years old.
Pat was recently working at an estate sale where he came across this drum and this suitcase full of musical instruments.
This here. Well, I was working with a neighbor of mine who lives a couple houses over, and she would do estate cleanouts and things like that. And I've helped her with quite a few estate cleanouts, and she came across this gear and I said, don't sell that. I noticed this is made of a Ludwig, which is pretty sweet. Some other small cymbals.
These instruments belong to a local Calgary entertainer who calls himself Dan the One-Man Band. He once appeared alongside James Caan in a locally shot movie.
This is a part of his history, and I thought that, you know, if there's a way that this gear should probably make it back to him.
When we reached out to Dan, he let us know that he had an upcoming performance during the Calgary Stampede Week.
My name's Dan Duguay. I was born in Toronto, but I grew up in Ottawa. The first time I came to Calgary, we came into town and we needed to find a laundromat. We were driving around downtown. We were low on funds. I said, you go find a laundromat and I'll go make some money for us. And while I was playing, there was a guy taking my picture with a pretty serious camera. He was leaving. I said, is this going to be in the paper tomorrow? And I remember looking for one of those little news boxes, and I walk up to the box, and as I'm walking, I get closer, and I was right on the front page. So that was July 27th, 1991. So the first day that I busked in Calgary, I ended up on the front page of the Herald. Well, if I'm going to go across Canada and try to survive on busking, it would be beneficial to have one of these drum contraptions on, and that's kind of how it was born. A one-man band standing out there playing the backbeat and playing the chords and singing the words, that was a new thing for a lot of people. If you're going to be busking, it really attracts the people, and if you attract more people, you make more money. Simple math. I was able to support myself with busking. I didn't have to rely on anybody giving me a gig. I just had to find a good pedestrian mall or a good farmer's market or whatever, and I could actually make a living doing that.
Don't you go because I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
This is the kit that Pat found. When we caught up with Dan, he had built himself a new updated kit with a backpack harness. When we watched his promotional video, we even saw a third version of this drum kit. The distinction of the kit that Pat found is that it was covered with stickers from Dan's travels around the world.
I had a girlfriend who is my wife, and we packed up and went over to Australia with, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go I wanted to travel around and see different parts of the world, and with this contraption here, I was able to go anywhere. I could always make money wherever I went, and so it was my ticket to see the world, and I took advantage of that.
Under the premise that Pat was doing the background music on this project, we invited Dan over to Pat's house.
How you doing, brother?
I'm glad we finally. Oh,
Yeah.
you look familiar.
Yeah, it would have been many years in between and all that, but
Yeah, you definitely.
first time I would have seen you is on Stephen Ave,
Yeah.
probably. I don't know. I moved here in '97, so sometime.
So
shortly
yeah, right there.
thereafter.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the sweet spot of my busking days in Calgary.
That's cool, man. Yeah, no, even before I ever seen you, my pops actually used to work in the golf building downtown there.
Yeah,
And yeah, so he'd see you on his lunch hours, and he'd always tell me about you. And then I ended up
that's hilarious.
showing up in the downtown. That was kind of my main hang around scene for a while. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At this point, Dan still has no idea that Pat has found his old instruments. Pat gains Dan's trust by giving him a tour of his house.
This is a museum.
That's a bunch of stuff.
Pat shows Dan his organs.
This thing is from '93, and at the time it was about 25 grand.
Are you kidding? $40 you paid for this thing? That's insanity. You didn't even touch the foot pedals.
No, that's a whole different game altogether. Dang. And you would remark about that.
Dan was entertained, but as the afternoon went on, he began to grow more suspicious.
Are we going to film the whole afternoon, do you think? Or because don't think I didn't notice this. Like I know.
Show you some more musical down here.
You gotta see
Take a look at this. Have a look.
Oh yeah, this is mine. You stole this from me. Yeah, you stole this from me. You.
No, man. I've like I
Somebody
said.
left that. Was the drum in there?
Yeah. You got that back?
And it's yours,
That's
man.
funny.
It's yours, brother.
It's fine.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
We are all just temporary custodians of these things in this lifetime, and even when I started collecting, I didn't think I had any interest in history whatsoever, but I quickly came to realize that the history is often the most interesting part of the piece.
Where the hell? Yeah, so the story with that is, what's her name? Well, I won't implicate her in this story, but she needed a one-man band kit for a play that she was doing, and so she had it, and then we were trying to connect for me to get it back from her. But I finally got in touch with her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I moved out of that house, and I don't know what happened to that stuff." But I hadn't used this drum in a long. It wasn't my working drum. It was just that was my first drum. That was the one that I took on all my trips overseas and Japan and Australia. This is the first one that I constructed. I bought this in a secondhand music shop in Ottawa. I had $300 and I used it to buy this, and I had to buy the hi-hat and hack away. Now that I'm recollecting, I think there's some holes here that we hacked away, and then it was like, oh no, this isn't the right spot for it. And so, oh yeah, that right here, I think this was the first.
Oh yeah.
This one, see, this one was a lot smaller. Like I went from this one to having a backpack frame, like a metal frame, and then mounting the drum on it, so it was better for. But it's a lot bigger, though.
Sure.
Like, as far as traveling around the world, like a little.
Sure.
But, yeah, you know, it's like I'd lost that, and it's funny because I thought about it a couple months ago. I forget what I was doing. I was kind of gathering my crap together, and I thought about that. I was like, oh yeah, it's gone. Yeah, I wonder where that went. But how many million things in your life do you go, huh, that's gone, I wonder where it went?
Sure.
And you never see it again.
Well, that's some of the history that only you can tell, my man.
It's pretty cool to have this back. I love the fact that there's all these stickers on it, and whereas my newer drum, it's more business-like. When I built this, I never would have imagined my life would turn out the way it did, and it's been a really interesting journey, and it's caused me to think about the old times. If ever I open a Dan the One Man Band Museum, this will be the first piece that I include in there, so thanks again, Pat.
All right. Cool. Super cool to meet you, brother.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
Safe travels.
Have a good one, Dan.
The band is back together.
Yeah, that was awesome.